Tory Remain rebels today demanded a second referendum on Brexit and floated the idea of a government of national unity to call it. Dominic Grieve, the former minister who rallied rebels to inflict a defeat on Brexit laws last year, warned there would be a polite rebellion from pro-EU Tories. He said today there were now a significant number of Conservative MPs prepared to back a new referendum for the first time. And he suggested that, if Mrs May will not agree to hold another national vote, a cross-party alliance could seize power and force one. The pro-EU revolt comes as Brexiteers prepare to use the Tory conference in Birmingham to step up their assault on Mrs May's Chequers plan. Mrs May has insisted she will never allow a second referendum on Brexit and has vowed to defend her blueprint for quitting Europe. Mr Grieve said Labour's decision to edge toward a new referendum had changed the equation and there could now be a Commons majority for a new poll. Writing in the Sunday Telegraph, he said, "I believe the time has come for a polite rebellion by pragmatic Conservatives. It was clear that there is a significant group of Conservative MPs who think that a people's vote, a vote on the final form Brexit will take, is absolutely indispensable for the future well-being of our country. Share this article, share," he added. "A no-deal Brexit is a proposal so damaging to our future that it cannot be accepted. So the only possible response must be to return to the British electorate and ask them what they want. That, it seems to me, is good pragmatic Conservative position." In a separate interview with the New Statesman, Mr Grieve spelled out how the referendum could be brought about, suggesting one option was for Remainer MPs from across parties to join forces temporarily and form a government. "It would be fairly radical. Ultimately, any government is one which enjoys the majority of support of members of parliament to carry out a policy," he said. "So, it would have to be on a cross-party basis." He added, "There is a very curious level of majority consensus in my view that the Brexit process is very risky, that no deal is an unacceptable outcome, and that any deal brought back by the government, however worthy it may be, and however well negotiated, is likely to have serious downsides to it." Amid the growing civil war at the tense conference in Birmingham, Mrs May insisted her Chequers plan is not dead as she lashed out at Boris Johnson for playing politics with Brexit. The Prime Minister said her blueprint was the only one on the table that could guarantee a soft Irish border and smooth trade. The defiant message came after Mr Johnson launched another vicious attack on her proposals, branding them deranged and preposterous. In one bruising jibe, Mr Johnson pointed out that she was a Remainer during the referendum 2 years ago, and he urged the government to back ambitious projects like building a bridge between Northern Ireland and Scotland. But Mrs May shot back that her critics were playing politics and insisted she is not bluffing about driving a hard bargain with the EU. Speaking during an interview on the BBC's Andrew Marr show to kick off Tory conference, Mrs May said, "I do believe in Brexit." Earlier, David Davis, who resigned as Brexit secretary the day before Mr Johnson quit, delivered a put-down to Mr Johnson when asked about his leadership potential. Making clear he would back Mrs May in a confidence vote, he said some of the ex-London mayor's ideas were little more than good headlines,